Hi, this is Dr. B. We're doing High Adventure Science, which is at learn.concord.org, and we're doing Will There Be Enough Fresh Water? We're on Activity 5, and we're on page 4. Human impact on groundwater. Where's the best place to put wells to maintain the health of our streams? Near the stream or far from the stream? Place 2 wells in the model, run 2 experiments. Experiment 1, wells near the stream. Experiment 2, wells far from the stream. Does the placement of the wells matter? That's our question this experiment. Make a hypothesis. What do you think is going to happen? Is it better to put those wells near the stream or far from the stream? So we get to look at 2 different things here. We'll look at well output and we'll look at water level. So we'll be watching the stream and we'll be watching our wells. So let's stick them near the stream first. So I'm going to drill 2 wells here, and I just clicked on the button that said add well. If you mess up, just click on the button that says remove well and click on the well and it'll go away, and you can click add well again and put it where you want it. So let's run this scenario here with 2 wells. Ooh, I see a big kind of hole developing here where I'm pumping water. And I'm seeing the water level in the stream. It looks like it's going down, at least for right now. And my well output is also going down. I'm going to let this run for a little while so we can take a look at the final data after about 4 years. Okay, I've let the model run for a while. You can see we're at like almost 3 years here. The water level has gone way down, and where's the stream now? Is it there anymore? We're also looking at our well output. Well 2 and well 1, the blue line and the red line, have both gone down. And now they're sort of sporadically, their water output is sporadic. So that's data from experiment A, where we put our wells near the stream. Let's try the experiment again, and let's put the wells further away from the stream and see what happens this time. So I'm going to hit stop, I'm going to hit reset, and I'll grab a well, put it far away from the stream this time, and I'll add another one over here. Let's see how this goes. We're still getting kind of dips where the well is pulling out water, but look at the stream. It still looks like the stream is flowing and there's lots of water in that stream. I'm going to let this model run for a couple of simulated years on the graph, and then we'll look at the water level here and the well output. Okay, our model with the wells placed far away from the stream is looking a little bit different. The water level did come down, but there's still water in the stream, just barely. And there seems to be a more regular flow of water from the wells. The output isn't quite as jagged up and down. It's still not great for the stream. Fish and other wildlife that depended on the stream for water, it's going to be a changed habitat. They're not going to have as much water to live in, but it's better overall than putting the wells near the stream. So if we have to put wells in, we have to take a lot of water out, we should consider where we put those wells. All right, I'll let you take a snapshot of your experiment 1. I'll take a snapshot of my experiment 2 here. And I'm done. I don't have to write on this one. So question 13 asks us, in the model, what happens to the water level directly below the well? Well, let's go up in here and see. Let's put a well back in. Let's pump from it. And it looks like we get a little dip here. So you can figure out question 13. In the model, how does groundwater flow relative to the gaining stream? If it's a gaining stream, is the groundwater going to flow into the stream so it gains, or is it going to flow out of the stream so it loses? Where should pumps be placed around a gaining stream in an area with a higher water table to ensure a good flow of water from the wells and maintain the stream? Because that's close to wildlife, it's important to people who live along that stream. Are we going to put them close to the stream, or are we going to put them far away from the stream? And in your answer, you should include the words water table and higher or lower and well and gaining stream. How is a gaining stream going to behave if the water table is lower than the stream? Is it going to turn into a different kind of stream? How certain am I about my claim based on my explanation? I'm going to say 3. I'm going to take some middle ground here because I'm going to say somewhat certain because I can see what is happening in the model. But there's also a degree of uncertain because all models are imperfect. I always want more data to make a good, to decide if I'm certain or uncertain. If I'm going to be really certain, I want a lot of data. So I want more data to be really certain. And I also want to see what happens in more locations. A model is kind of a generalized view of what happens in a particular situation, but knowing and having data from actual real life situations would make me a little bit more certain. I don't think HasBot is going to give me a very good grade here because I'm not writing complete sentences and really giving HasBot complete thoughts here. But you're going to, and you're going to get better scores from HasBot. So we're going to go to page 5. What happened to the waters? The headwater of the Santa Cruz River rise in the mountain range that lie to the south of Tucson. That's in Arizona. The river runs south into Mexico, then hooks around to the north, passing through the Sonoran Desert and the city of Tucson. It ends near Phoenix, where it joins the Gila River. As recently as the 1940s, water flowed year-round in the Santa Cruz River. The photo shows the Santa Cruz River in 1942, when water flowed year-round. It looks like there were a lot of trees and wildlife habitat. Here in 1989, it looks pretty dry, like it's a big pile of sand. Water no longer flows year-round in the Santa Cruz River. Most of the year, only sand fills the riverbed. The trees and rich growth seen in 1942 is gone, as is the wildlife. Because without trees and plants for habitat, there's not going to be as much wildlife as with bare sand. In the late 1800s, new groundwater pump technology enabled farmers to plant more crops to support an increasing demand. The water table began to drop. And how is the water table dropping going to affect a gaining stream here? Farmers then turned directly to the river, cutting down trees and digging ditches to divert the flow to the crops. That changed the habitat surrounding the water. During the 20th century, the population increased and the water demand increased further. In response, new pumps that could bring water up from greater depth were installed, so they're pumping even more water and probably lowering that water table even further because you have to go deeper and deeper and deeper to start hitting water. Remember, the water table is the highest point where you hit water when you're trying to drill a well. It's the highest groundwater in an unconfined aquifer. During this period, the water table dropped so much that the groundwater was no longer connected to the surface water. Identify the elements of this system that contribute to the drying up of the Santa Cruz River. So, well, the first thing we have to talk about is the water table. We have lots of wells. We have, it said, cutting down trees and digging ditches. Trees, if you cut down the trees, the water is more exposed to the sun and evaporates more easily. So we can say evaporation. We can say deeper wells. And that tells us water table is dropping. And we can also say canals diverting the water. So basically, the people surrounding the river were diverting the water, they were pumping the water, and so there wasn't any water left for the Santa Cruz River. You can use the word bank here to develop some sentences that explain what's going on. Let's go to page 6 and finish this up. From 1850 to 2010, the population of Tucson grew from about 400 people to over 500,000 people. The graph shows the actual population growth of Tucson, as well as Pima County, in which Tucson is located. The blue dotted line is a mathematical curve that shows the exponential growth of a population starting with 400 people in 1850 and doubling every 15.5 years. So this is what kind of like a animal population or any population, bacteria would double much more quickly, but population growth is generally exponential. Our red line is the county, and our black line is Tucson. What factors do you think led to the increase in population? Do you think that the population growth in Pima County is sustainable? Is there enough water for all those people? So it's a desert. We know the water table is going down. So it's in a desert. The water table is going down. There are more people. So there's more demand for water. What do you think is going to happen? I gave you a lot of word bank clues here. You can put them together in sentences and tell me what you think led to if the population growth is sustainable. Why do people move to the desert? We live in Minnesota here. I'm Dr. B and I live in Minnesota. It's cold in the winter. I have a lot of neighbors that go to Arizona in the winter. So that might explain why people would move to Arizona. But maybe they won't be able to stay there because maybe there won't be enough water. Thanks for sticking with me on Activity 5. I'll see you for Activity 6.